Hey traders, in this video we will be exploring the highest high and lowest low inbuilt function. So let's jump straight into it. The highest and lowest function is pretty self-explanatory, but I'll show you a few ways we can use it. So the first example is let's get the highest open price over a certain look-back period. So to use these functions, we need to reference the TA, the technical analysis library, the inbuilt library or namespace of PineScript. If I hit Control Space and start typing something here, if I start typing highest, here are all of our highest inbuilt functions. So there's one version of this highest function that only takes a look-back period, a length, and this will return the highest high of the bars on your chart over that look-back period. But you can also input a source. So for example, let's say we want to get the highest open over the past 50 bars. And then let's plot that onto our chart. I'll give it a color of color.blue. And we'll set overlay to true and save the script. There we go. So now we are drawing the highest open over the past 50 bars. We could change this to the highest high if we wanted to. Change open to high. Let me just change this variable back to highest. Save the script. Now we're getting the highest high. If you wanted to detect a breakout of this value, you could create a new variable here called breakout equals is the current bar's close greater than the previous highest high. Now, if you reference the current highest high and the current bar's high is the highest high over the past 50 bars, then this value will never be set to true because the script will always be updating the highest high to the current bar. So by referencing the previous highest high, that ensures that the first time a bar closes higher than our highest high value, this value would be set to true. So let me change the background color of our chart. If we get a breakout, I'll change it to green or NA if there is no breakout. Save the script. And now you can see our chart turns green whenever a bar closes greater than the previous highest high over our look back period. Now let me get rid of this background color code and we'll try something different. Let's try an indicator value. So let's get the RSI value, ta.rsi, close 14 period. So just a default RSI value here. Let's get the highest RSI value over the past 50 bars. Now, if I save the script, you can see up here that the highest that the RSI ever got over the past 50 bars is 75.4. So this highest high function works with any value in our scripts, open, high, low, close, indicator values, volume, you name it. And so does the lowest. So if I change this to lowest and change this to lowest so that it makes more sense, save this code. Now we're getting the lowest RSI value over the past 50 bars, which was 34.11. So over the past 50 bars, the RSI has not gone oversold once. So that's the highest and lowest functions. Pretty simple, but you can do all kinds of cool stuff with this function, the highest and lowest function, in terms of developing filters for your script or detecting things like breakouts, like I just showed you. So this function can be great for trend continuation, strategies, and for creating filters. So for example, as far as filters go, we could say, is the current bar's low equal to the lowest low over the past 50 bars? If so, let's change the background color to red, if that is true, otherwise NA. So if the current bar is the lowest low over the past 50 bars, our chart turns red. And then perhaps you could look for certain candlestick patterns here. So you could look for hammer candles, for example. There's a nice hammer candle right there. After price has created a new low, a new lowest low over the past 50 bars, we get a nice reversal pattern and price rallies. So that's some examples of what you could use the lowest and highest functions for. Let's look at one other example before we wrap up this lesson. Let's say we want to count the volume of the lowest low bar over the past 50 bars. To do that, we can use the lowest bars function. So if I say lowest low count, let's call it bar count. Lowest low bar count equals ta.lowest bars. Now, similar to the lowest function, we have two options here. We can just specify our length, and that will compare all of the lowest lows, or we can put in a different value, a price value, an indicator value, whatever. For this example, I'm just going to stick with the lows. So I'm just going to put 50 in here. And this will now count how many bars have printed on my chart since the current bar was the lowest low over our look back period. So now let's plot lowest low bar count, save my script, and if we come to the current bar, you can see it says negative 35. That means if I measure out 35 bars, there we go. If I zoom in here, try that again. 35 bars, that brings us to here, which means 35 bars have passed since we printed the last lowest low, the most recent lowest low. And so now I can use that value in a historical operator to reference any value from that bar. So let's get the lowest low volume, and I can set that to the volume inbuilt variable or series. Open up my historical operator, square brackets, and now notice that this is a negative number, so I need to convert it into a positive number using the math.abs function. And inside these parentheses, we can put in our lowest low bar count. And now I can plot my lowest low volume onto the chart, save the script, and let's see what we get. There's our number there. Let me throw on the volume indicator. If I hover over this bar here, which is the lowest low over the past 50 bars, you can see up here that we have 98 million shares traded, and our indicator is plotting 98 million shares onto our chart. And that was achieved using the lowest bars function. You can also use the Barssince function. Now, this isn't really relevant to the highest and lowest functions, but while we're here, I might as well show you how that works. So we could say here, ta.Barssince, and then this function takes a Boolean condition. So here we could say low equals ta.lowest, and then we can put in 50 here. So now this is going to count how many bars have printed onto our chart since this condition was met. So now when I save the script, we should be getting exactly the same number plotting onto our chart, because Barssince should return 35, just like the lowest bars function was doing. So now if I save the script, sorry if you can hear my cat in the background. He's home alone with me today, and I think he wants to go outside, but he's not allowed outside because he's a naughty boy. He keeps jumping the fence and climbing the neighbor's roof. Anyway, you can see the numbers are the same up here, 98 million shares, which is how many shares were printed on the lowest low over the past 50 bars. And our Barssince function is counting that up for us. Anyway, that will sum up the highest and lowest inbuilt function lesson. I'm going to go sort out my cat, and then I'll speak with you in the next lesson. Take care.